We were 30 days away from going out of business. Everything we built was about to be broken. Today, NVIDIA is the heart of the AI revolution governing the world, a $3 trillion empire. But back in 1996, this giant was a company on the brink of collapse, with only 30 days of cash left to survive. Imagine a small office, a handful of engineers, and a CEO with a leather jacket and a vision that no one else believed in. They weren't just fighting for market share, they were fighting for their very existence. One wrong move, one failed chip, and NVIDIA would have been just another forgotten name in the silicon graveyard. This isn't just a success story. This is the story of the world's greatest gamble, played at a point where everything was destined to fail. A bet so massive it redefined the future of computing, intelligence, and humanity itself. How did a dying startup become the backbone of the future? And how close did it actually come to shattering into pieces? This is the blueprint of a titan. Welcome to Built and Broken. In 1993, 3 engineers met at a Denny's diner with a dream: to bring 3D graphics to the masses. They called it NVIDIA, but their first foundation was built on sand. Their first chip, the NV1, was a technical marvel but a commercial disaster. It used a technology that the industry, and a rising giant named Microsoft, simply didn't want. NVIDIA had ignored the standards. They were outsiders. And in the world of Silicon Valley, being an outsider usually means being forgotten. By 1996, the company was hemorrhaging money. Half the staff had to be laid off. Jensen Huang stood in an almost empty office, realizing that his built empire was already broken before it even truly began. They had enough cash for 30 days, 1 month to survive or vanish forever. Desperation breeds the boldest moves. Jensen Huang went to the CEO of Sega, their only major partner, and made an impossible confession. Our technology is a dead end. We need to stop. It was a suicide note, but also a plea. He asked for the full payment for a failed project. Money NVIDIA hadn't earned, just to stay alive. Against all logic, Sega said yes. That $5 million was the oxygen mask for a dying patient. It allowed them to build the Riviera 128. It was a 100-to-1 shot. If it failed, NVIDIA was gone. But it didn't fail. It sold 1 million units in 4 months. NVIDIA wasn't just back, they had learned their most valuable lesson. In this industry, you either define the standard, or you are crushed by it. Success is a dangerous teacher. Most companies would have played it safe, but NVIDIA did the opposite. In 2006, they spent billions developing CUDA, a way to make graphics chips solve complex mathematical problems. Wall Street was furious. Investors called it a bridge to nowhere. Why waste money on something no one was asking for? For 10 long years, NVIDIA's stock stagnated. They were building a cathedral in the middle of a desert. Critics said the company was losing its way, that its vision was broken. But Jensen wasn't looking at the next quarter. He was looking at the next decade. He knew that one day, the world would need massive computational power for something bigger than video games. He was waiting for the spark. That spark was artificial intelligence. In 2012, researchers discovered that NVIDIA's useless CUDA chips were the only things powerful enough to train deep neural networks. Suddenly, the Desert Cathedral was the most important building in the world. When ChatGPT arrived, the world realized what NVIDIA had known for 20 years. Data is the new oil, and NVIDIA owns the refineries. From a 30-day survival story to a $3 trillion titan. They didn't just build a chip, they built the engine of the future. Every AI model, every autonomous car, every digital frontier now runs on the Silicon Empire that almost never was. NVIDIA stands today at the zenith of human achievement. But history has a recurring theme. The higher the rise, the more complex the fall. Intel was once untouchable. Cisco was once the king of the internet. Both saw their foundations crack. Is NVIDIA's dominance truly permanent, or are the seeds of its future broken state being sown right now in its massive success? In the world of power, nothing stays built forever. Thank you for watching the first autopsy of Built and Broken. If you want to understand how empires are made and why they fall, subscribe and join us. What should we investigate next? Let us know in the comments. I'm your host, and this was NVIDIA.